For our critical pedagogy, we wanted to explore what teachers and administrators thought about cell phone use at schools and more specifically in the classroom. Is it more of a distraction, or should teachers focus on how to use this modern technology as a classroom tool? I interviewed Michelle Okayama, who is currently a high school teacher at Bonita High School, as well as Eric Podley, who is the new assistant principal in charge of athletics, who has also been a teacher and a coach at this school for a very long time and has a lot of experience here.
My name is Michelle Okiyama, and I've been here at Bonita for 10 years, and I have my master's in education with an emphasis in health education. I basically currently teach PE, fitness, and sports medicine classes, and I'm working on my PhD in sports medicine, and also my PhD emphasizes research and pedagogy.
What is your current cell phone policy at your school?
Here at Bonita, we have a no cell phone policy in the classroom. Students are allowed to use a cell phone in between classes, during lunch, and out of classroom, but technically in the classroom they are not allowed. They are prohibited.
Do you feel this is an effective system?
I feel that the students still try to use them regardless. They have them in their lab where they're trying to hide them, and it becomes sometimes more of a problem than anything with constantly trying to catch them or punish them for their cell phone.
Personally, do you feel that cell phones or personal electronics have a place in the classroom?
I feel that there can be a lot of activities that you can do with the use of technology, so allowing the kids to use cell phones. And I believe they're a great tool to have in the classroom if you incorporate it with what you're doing.
Next, highlighting oppression and social injustice. Do you think implementation of cell phone and electronic-based activities would help encourage students' level of interest and understanding? For example, Facebook, Instagram, mass communication through social media.
To increase their understanding of stuff?
Mm-hmm. And
Well,
level of interest.
Well, I technically have just created a Twitter account that I learned through a colleague and my students, and I think my students were so ecstatic that I created a Twitter, and what the Twitter is used for is to remind about homework assignments, post something really quickly, and all the students get it because they're on Twitter all the time. And so I think it definitely does help out, but unfortunately not all the students have a Twitter account, so you're not reaching 100% of them.
And then, in your experience, are cell phones an effective classroom tool or more of a distraction?
I think equal right now, but yet I think if you really find a way to manage, like, or have a disciplinary action for using it when they're not supposed to, or have a way, you know what I mean, to make sure that they're only using it for that time, then I think it could be useful. But I think it's a distraction as well, though.
What about for PE, since you have the experience in the classroom and also outside?
I've thought about it for PE. We technically, again, have a no policy, but I allow my students to bring it because I find that my students are more motivated to run the mile when they're listening to music. And if it gets the kid out there to run harder and not talk to their friends, I'm all for it. Also, there's a lot of fitness apps that would be cool to allow my students to do where they can actually like run map their mile, or they can get their times on there and track it and see their progress over the semester or the year, and I think that'd be awesome.
Eric Podley, assistant principal, Bonita High School.
And then, what is the current cell phone policy at this school?
Current cell phone policy is that kids are allowed to bring their phones to school, but we do not want them out or being used in class without the teacher's permission. If that occurs, teachers can confiscate the phone. They're brought up to the office. They will be returned to the parent at the end of the day.
Do you feel that this is an effective system?
Kids are aware that they're not supposed to be using their phones in class, so it is something that they're aware of. It's a deterrent. We do run into problems sometimes. Kids teachers will give the phone to a kid to bring to the office. Sometimes that's a problem. Sometimes there are teachers who use the phone and use the technology in the phone as part of their lesson plan. So
Personally, do you feel that cell phones or personal electronics have a place in the classroom?
I think that's a reflection of the modern world. I think people use their cell phones for work. They use computers for work. They use iPads for work. The more that kids become familiar with that type of working environment, I think we're preparing them for what they're going to face out in the real world, in the real jobs. So I think it's teachers who use it effectively in class. I think they find it to be a valuable tool, and you find kids using it all the time as well. So ask any teacher in the classroom if they're putting an assignment on the board. The kids are not going to copy the assignment down, but they are going to come up and they're going to take a picture of it on their phone. That's a daily occurrence.
I've actually done that in my class, and it's really helpful.
Right. Or there's a diagram that they want, they'll take a picture of it. Or kids will use the technology for a lot of different things that can be advantageous to their education.
Do you think that using the electronics and cell phones helps encourage students to be more interested or understand the material?
I think it cuts both ways. Some kids will use it, as we said, as they can use it as an educational tool. They can also be using it because they're lazy and they'd rather take a picture than take notes. So it's it can go both ways. But I think it's the way the real world works. It's the way the modern world works, and being able to use those things in an effective way is probably a valuable skill that kids should have.
And then overall, in your experience, do you think cell phones are effective as a tool in the classroom or more of a distraction?
It depends how teachers use it. So it really, like anything else in the classroom, if a teacher is integrating it into the way they teach their class and the kind of things they're doing in class, it can be effective. If the teacher doesn't integrate it, and kids are just on there looking up things on the internet and playing candy cane and Facebook and all that other stuff, then obviously it's a distraction.
So overall, it looks like both of the teacher and the administrator saw that using a cell phone in the classroom could be extremely beneficial to the students. It's just really up to the teachers to find ways to use the cell phones as a tool and take away the distraction part from the students. Thanks so much.